So, who got the big deals to stay with their teams? Who got big deals to go elsewhere? And which teams were the big winners and the big losers during the free agency? Well, we're going to try to find the answers to those questions and a lot more as we get you prepared for the 2025 edition of Free Agent Frenzy. And what a frenzy it is! We'll get to all that right here tonight on Fantasy Football Fever, which starts right now. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another edition of Fantasy Football Fever. It is Friday night, March 14th, 2025. Wherever, whenever, and however you're watching, thanks for making this part of your week. Of course, I am Tim McClellan. And of course, over there on his bus heading home is our good friend, the host of the Hooked on Sports podcast, John Flynn. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, Timmy. How are you doing?
Doing quite well here. Oh my goodness, a whole lot of shaking going on. As that old song said, there was a whole lot of shaking in the NFL. We'll get to that momentarily. Just to let y'all know, our good friend, our league commissioner John Talley, he just got home. He just got to get a bite to eat, but he'll be joining us in about 20 to 30 minutes. So he'll be joining us here in a little while. But anyway, I should say, Happy New Year. Well, actually, Happy New League Year, that is. The league year just started, what was it, Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday at 4 p.m. it started, so which meant so many free agency deals that were agreed upon during the free agent tampering period were good to go and be able to be officially signed. So and I think we have a lot to talk about, Tim.
Oh, we do have a lot to talk about. So, first things first, we are going to go in and give y'all some of the free agent news. Give you free agent signings by position here. Starting, of course, at the quarterback position. Let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger.
Yep. That, I
Uh,
mean, I think how you had it before. I think it's better because it has everything. All the signings on one
okay, let
each.
me let me reset. I'll reset
That's
that.
better. I like that.
All right. The first one we see here in the quarterback position, Sam Darnold, signed a 3-year, $100.5 million contract with the Seahawks after the Seahawks let go of Geno Smith. So, and wait a minute, I forgot. Geno Smith did sign with another team, right?
So he got traded to the Raiders last week before the start of free agency.
Okay, so Smith to the Raiders, and now Sam Darnold with the Seahawks. As I said, 3 years, 100.5 million. So out goes Geno, in comes Sam. Any upside there?
I mean, I think that there's been a lot of discourse about how the Seahawks have like downgraded from Geno Smith to Sam Darnold. But look, I think what Kevin O'Connell did with Sam Darnold last year, I think it is remarkable. I mean, that Sam Darnold, who arguably could have been, maybe should have been the first overall pick in the 2018 NFL draft if the Browns didn't fall in love with Baker Mayfield. Now you have Sam Darnold, who has been in journeyman, had like a 1 year tryout to try to resurrect his career, and give resuscitation to his career. So he balls out for the Vikings, and then the season did not end the way he wanted to because they got routed by the Lions and the Rams in the last two games of the season, including the postseason. And Sam Darnold cashes in, and I think he deserves it. And I think after the Seahawks traded Geno Smith, which I didn't think made any sense. They were able to get a younger option. They had an option that could throw the deep ball more. So Jackson Smith and Jigba. So there's certainly some upside there, and and I think you're going to look at that as someone that's going to play a role in it. But but I think you pair up Sam Darnold with Jackson Smith and Jigba, and then news that broke today that Cooper Cup signed a 3-year, $45 million deal with the Seahawks, going from the Rams to the Seahawks. And I'm very curious about how he's going to fit in because both JSN and Cooper Cup thrive in the slot, and like the outside receiver position still looks pretty weak. Um, uh, and not really the replacement to see the fit the piece of the puzzle with DK Metcalf gone, but I think Sam Darnold. I think having a couple of receivers to throw to, similar to like how had with Minnesota. Clint Kubiak, he reunites with him because they worked together in San Francisco when he was there. So I think you have that, and then you have as a young speedy receiver like JSN and Cooper Cup as well. So that's going to be interesting. The offensive line I still think is a bit of a work in progress. So I think they're going to have. I think Sam Darnold's going to have to work on is going to have to carry over his quickness and his reading ability of defenses and carry that over from Minnesota to Seattle. But I think you have a more upside quarterback in Sam Darnold.
All right, then. Makes Seahawks look a little bit interesting, but what's my concern is, uh, will Cooper Cup be able to stay healthy because of his history with his injuries? We'll take
Yeah,
a
I mean,
deep look at that.
I mean, another reason why I was very curious about the fit, and for him getting $15 million a year for someone who hasn't stayed healthy the last 3 years, since his historic 2021 season, where it capped off by being the game MVP in the Super Bowl.
Right. And we got our friend the vampire watching us. How you doing, Luke? Our friend all the way from Birmingham, England. Hope you're doing fine, buddy. Good to see you have you watching the show. Spread the word to your friends over there. Next time I see Justin Fields, he leaves the Pittsburgh Steelers and signs a 2-year, $40 contract with the New York Football Jets. So they let go of Aaron Rodgers about a month and a half ago. Now they got Justin Fields. So I don't know what to say about this one.
I mean, talk about a downgrade. I mean, they continually, fans continually try to blame Aaron Rodgers for the Jets' bad season, but he threw 18 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in his last 10 games, and he did that despite the team having no coaching and no direction in defense, and all the noise coming out about how the organization treats its players. So starting at the top with Woody Johnson going down. So that was wild. But then Justin Fields, a guy that was benched, despite going 4-2. I mean, I don't know what the hell the Jets were thinking, going letting Aaron Rodgers go and signing Justin Fields.
Uh, I'll tell you what. It seems to me like the Jets are almost like almost about as delusional as the Cleveland Browns teams. I mean, I just don't get I just don't get their thinking, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, you have a book. Yeah, but I mean, the Jets have a rookie GM. They have a rookie head coach, and the problem and the problems with the Jets with the talented defense. It was all their offense and bringing a defensive coach to be the guy in charge makes no sense to me. I mean, but Aaron Glenn is a good respected guy, but you need an offensive coach to coach the Jets, and this is what you're seeing, the ripple effects of that going from Aaron Rodgers to Justin Fields. So what does that mean in terms of fantasy? I think Garrett Wilson's going to take a bit of a step back this year, in terms of production. And I think with Justin Fields taking away some touches by running the ball, I think it's going to be a problem for him.
All right. Next on the list we got here Daniel Jones. He was let go by the New York Giants. He signed a 1-year, $14 million deal with the Indianapolis Colts. Um, I actually like this. I like this for only one reason, and the fact is that I don't think Daniel Jones is going to walk off like Anthony Richardson did.
I mean, to add to his point, of course, Daniel Jones got released by the Giants in November, signed as a backup with the Minnesota Vikings, and wasn't the belief about the Vikings, well, all along was that they wanted J.J. McCarthy to be their Week 1 starter for this upcoming season. So they let Sam Darnold go, they let Daniel Jones go, and now Daniel Jones is going to be with the Indianapolis Colts. And look, I think I think it is a pretty easy take that I think Daniel Jones is going to be the Colts Week 1 starter this year because I think if you look at the Colts and how their season transpired with Anthony Richardson, man, Anthony Richardson had a lot of fantasy upside, and we saw it at times this year. Like the Week 1 game against the Texans, where he threw those two bombs to Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman, and then that game against the Jets, where he single-handedly carried his team to victory. So, but then you look at the game against the Texans, where he just seemingly quit on his team on the last play of the game. Um, which was a really bad luck. And then you factor in that since 2023, the two quarterbacks with the lowest passer ratings are Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones, uh, which is kind of wild. So, but if Daniel Jones does be the starter Week 1 for the Colts, he's going to play behind the best offensive line he has played under, which tells you something about the Giants and also about the Colts. So I think it's going to be a little. I think Daniel Jones might have some success with Indianapolis if he's the starter Week 1. 14 mil is definitely not a lot to give to a quarterback who is on a free agent contract at the age of 27, but but the Colts had no choice, quite frankly.
Yeah, I agree with that. So hopefully Daniel Jones will be pretty good with the Colts. Next name I see, Jacoby Brissett, pretty much a career backup. I think he started a few games here and there. He signed a 2-year, $12 million deal with the Arizona Cardinals. So it looks like Baker Mayfield's going to have a little bit of a backup.
Hang on.
Oh, I have to excuse Mr. Plan. He's just hopping off of his train there.
Yeah, but I think you're thinking about Kyler Murray, not Baker
Oh,
Mayfield.
Kyler. Well, I don't know why I get those two mixed up. I guess, didn't they both
I
play
mean,
at Oklahoma?
as I think that they both did, and they were both number one overall picks.
That's probably why. So Kyler Murray's got some backup with Jacoby Brissett, but
Yep.
Like I said, 2 years,
Yeah,
12 million.
yeah, and see, and but other names, Marcus Mariota goes back to Washington. Mason Rudolph goes to the Steelers. And I mean, the Steelers, as bad as the quarterback situation the Giants have, the Steelers probably have it worse.
Oh, it's like they do because they're still wondering about they're still wondering about Russell Wilson, and if they get him go, then
Yeah.
do they want to try to go out and grab Aaron Rodgers, who still is unsigned? Russell Wilson's still unsigned. We got Jameis Winston unsigned, and Joe Flacco. Joe
Yeah.
Flacco unsigned. If I'm not mistaken, I think at the end of the season, I said Joe Flacco should probably just hang it up.
Yeah. 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 And also Mac Jones goes to the 49ers, and just think of the discourse we had in 2021, because like we all believe that Mac Jones should have been the pick for the 49ers with the third overall pick instead of Trey Lance, and Mac Jones goes to the team that should have drafted him.
Yeah. So what happens now? Mac Jones signs with the 49ers, and of course, a couple of years ago, my boys got Trey Lance instead. So,
Yeah. And so like Steelers, Browns, and Giants are basically like the three teams that don't have quarterbacks. So like I'm personally fine with Jameis Winston, which is kind of crazy because I do think Jameis Winston's going to be a fun, entertaining quarterback, and he can throw the ball down the field out, which would be great for someone like Malik Neighbors or Darius Slayton, who re-signed with the Giants, who can catch some long balls. So I wouldn't mind Jameis Winston, if the Giants miss out on Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson, but it definitely feels like the Giants are going to be leaning towards Russell Wilson to sign and then drafting a quarterback in the at some point in the draft.
yeah, that could happen. That could happen. So those are pretty much some of the star quarterbacks with the free agent signings. Of course, Rodgers, Wilson, Winston, and Flacco still available. Let's look at some running backs here. Aaron Jones, he re-signed with the Minnesota Vikings with a 2-year, $20 million contract. So Aaron Jones is still good. Hey, I think Aaron Jones did great last year. He deserved the extension.
Yeah, in terms of fantasy, he was a solid RB2 option, and he was finished like top 15, top 20 in fantasy last year. So especially in PPR settings.
Yeah, so Aaron Jones is staying with the Vikings. Meanwhile, Najee Harris has left the Pittsburgh Steelers. He has signed a contract with the Los Angeles Chargers. It's a 1-year deal worth up to 9.25 million.
Yeah, and I do like it, but I do like the fit for him, for the Chargers. I think he makes a lot of sense for Greg Roman's offense, because yeah, his idea is that you want to be the more physical team out there, and you want to and you want to run with power and speed, and that's what Najee Harris has done. And for all the vaults the Steelers have had the last few years, um, Najee Harris in each of his 4 years in Pittsburgh ran for no less than 1,000 yards.
So Najee Harris, gonna load back up with the Chargers right there. Javonte Williams signs a 1-year, $3 million deal with my Dallas Cowboys. Of course, at the end of last season, we released Ezekiel Elliott, and we also just recently lost Rico Dowdle, which we will get to momentarily. So we add Javonte Williams. If I'm not mistaken, I still think the Cowboys have Deuce Vaughn. He didn't get much touches over the last couple of years, but he could probably be a contender with them. And speaking of which, I could go ahead and mention Miles Sanders. He signed a 1 year deal with the Cowboys as well. So that's two free agent running backs the Cowboys have signed, which I think is going to make this running back competition very interesting.
I mean, you might have a three-man backfield if the Cowboys don't draft Ashton Genty. Now, if the Cowboys do draft someone like Ashton Genty, like all bets are off in terms of fantasy value for any running back currently on the roster.
Right.
Um,
Uh,
it's, yeah, but I think it really shows to show you how abnormally great the free agent class was last year at the running back position when you have two future Hall of Famers at free agents at the same time.
right.
It,
True
and it
there.
definitely helped and it helped to be on the buyer's market. And Philly, Green Bay, and Baltimore, and Minnesota all took advantage of that.
Yeah, they sure did. We have Kareem Hunt. He is staying with the Chiefs for at least one more year. Signed a contract, a 1 year deal worth $1.5 million.
Yes. Yeah, he feels like a running back that's going to be taken in the latter stages of the draft again, in your fantasy drafts again this year, backing up Isaiah Pacheco.
Right. Of course, it seems like they're more of a pass hungry offense right there. But of course, Pacheco had a great year. Of course, he had that injury during the season, but it looked like he recovered quite well. And Kareem Hunt could be a good compliment to him. But right now, looking at other names here, J.K. Dobbins, Nick Chubb, Gus Edwards, and who is this one? The fullback, Just
Juszczyk.
Kyle
Juszczyk.
Juszczyk.
Yeah.
Uh, right now they're available, but my only concern is out of those four, whoever signs Nick Chubb. I mean, Nick Chubb is a great running back, but the problem is he's injury prone. And we've seen that
Right.
over the last couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, just to think how where what the trajectory of his career is going to be in terms of dollars CAD, and then he blows up his knee in that Monday night game against Pittsburgh a couple of years ago, and everything's been all downhill for him since. The Browns still managed to make the playoffs without him in 23, but nothing really much to write home about.
Right. So those are some big name running backs right now. The wide receiver position. Oh, we got a lot to talk about here. Starting with Chris Godwin, who decided to re-sign with Buccaneers. 3 years, $66 million contract, and I think I really like this deal.
Yeah, and it was one of the first deals that was supported by the media on Monday, and it made too much sense for everybody involved, and like there was no way the Bucks were gonna let Godwin go.
Right. I think he's just too a valuable player for that offense right there. So,
Yeah,
so
I mean,
congratulations to Godwin.
yeah, if Godwin was available for the playoffs, I think the Bucks could have gone on a run to the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, I agree with that. Davante Adams, he is gone from the New York Jets. He signs a contract with the Los Angeles Rams, 2 years worth $46 million. So obviously, that is going to put him probably at wide receiver two, where Cooper Cup once was.
Right.
So see how that works. Working with him alongside Puka Nakua could be a very interesting combination right there. DeAndre Hopkins. After that one season with the Chiefs, he now signs a 1 year, $5 million contract with the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, I'm very curious about what his fantasy values is going to be like because you have Zay Flowers as your number one receiver, and then they're really trying to figure out who your number two wide receiver is. So you can't rule out the Ravens adding a wide receiver by Eric DaCosta adding a wide receiver in the draft, but it feels like at best he's going to wind up being a WR3 for the Ravens.
Yeah, looks like good be. And speaking of the Chiefs, the Chiefs gave a 1 year, $11 million extension to Hollywood Brown, Marquise Hollywood Brown, 1 year up to $11 million, and I think they really wanted to re-sign him.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while for us to figure out the Chiefs wide receiver puzzle. So because I think Xavier Worthy, who you mentioned, who you stressed so much about that, I think his performance in the Super Bowl in a game the Chiefs lost by a lot, I think should be a good stepping stone for him going into year two. Like so he set a Super Bowl record for most receiving yards by a rookie in the Super Bowl. So I think they have to go back to what they were under Eric Bieniemy, and that was be fun, be aggressive, throw the ball down the field, and I think that's what's gonna enable the Chiefs going forward. But I think it's definitely gonna be Hollywood Brown, who might be WR2.
I could probably see that as well. Uh, your New York Giants have re-signed Darius Slayton, 3 years, $36 million. I think you mentioned him just a little bit ago.
Yeah, I was actually a little surprised that he did that and he came back at the price he did because like the receivers going out for like 15, 20 mil a year and Darius Slayton was actually not a bad wide receiver, but I think something that the Giants might have learned from last year was not to let their leadership go because I think what they were talking about in terms of leadership in the clubhouse in the locker room was guys like Xavier McKinney and Saquon Barkley, and Darius Slayton was up there as a leading voice in the locker room as well. So I don't think the Giants could have afforded to let Darius Slayton go to another team, and now Darius Slayton is going to be back as the WR2 for the Giants going into the draft.
Yeah, 3 years, $36 million. So hopefully he can keep up the pace with that offense there. We got Mike Williams, who is signed with the Los Angeles Chargers, 1 year contract up to $6 million. Uh, Williams has been in the league for quite some time. Does he have anything left?
I mean, we'll have to see. Of course, Mike Williams spent the first 7 seasons of his career with the Chargers, the team
Yeah.
that drafted him in 2017 in the first round. So
Oh, we'll just have to see what happens there. Here's here's another big one. Joshua Palmer signs a 3 year, $36 million contract with the Buffalo Bills.
yeah, I think the Bills needed someone to complement it's a Khalil Shakir at the wide receiver position. So I think it's going to take a little pressure off him. I think Joshua Palmer is a fantasy winner from all of this. I think having play with Josh Allen being a reliable number two target, I think it makes a lot of sense for the Bills to go out and do this.
Mm-hmm. I guess I agree with that here. Demarcus Robinson signs a 2 year, $9.5 million contract with the 49ers. Kind of keeping that wide receiver space filled up a little bit.
So WR3 at best, behind Pearsall and Ayuk in San Fran.
Yeah. I would concur with that. Okay, Marquez Valdez Scantling signs a 1 year deal worth up to $5.5 million with the Seattle Seahawks.
It's yeah. We'll see how that transpires with him being in the mix with Cup and JSN.
Yeah, let's see here. Uh, Nick Westbrook Ikine signs with the Miami Dolphins 2 years worth up to 6.5 mil.
Yeah, he's basically taken over for Braxton Berrios as a receiver. Well,
Yeah. Noah Brown, the man who caught that Hail Mary catch against the Chicago Bears, he has re-signed a 1 year, up to 4.5 million contract with the Washington Commanders.
yeah, I mean, so makes sense. Makes sense for him.
A couple other 1 year deals here. The Yami Brown signs the Jaguars with 1 year, 10 million. And Tutu Atwell re-signs with the Rams for 1 year, 10 million.
Yep, more
We
depth
got
pieces.
we got Mac Hollins signs with the Patriots 2 years, 8.4 million. Van Jefferson with the Tennessee Titans 1 year, up to 2.5 million. Uh, Zay Jones resigns with the Arizona Cardinals at a 1 year, $4.4 million contract. And Tim Patrick resigns for the Detroit Lions 1 year, up to 4 million. If I'm not mistaken, I think Tim Patrick is more like a wide receiver 3 on the Detroit side right there. So but there are some names that are not connected with any team right now. Amari Cooper, Stephon Diggs. Well, they mentioned Cooper Cup, but we just mentioned that Cooper Cup just signed a contract with Seattle Seahawks. I think, wasn't it Seattle? I think it might have been, but so we can scratch Cooper Cup's name off that list. Got some other players that haven't gotten contracts anywhere yet. Got Keenan Allen, Deontay Johnson, Elijah Moore, Brandon Cooks. Um, I would like to see if Jerry would try to keep Brandon Cooks in Dallas, but I digress. Juju Smith Schuster, Nelson Aguilar, Tyler Johnson, Robert Woods, and Tyler Lockett. Some of the other receivers who have not gotten any contracts as of late. Not that many tight ends to mention here. We got a Jawan Johnson who re-signed with the New Orleans Saints. His deal was 3 years, 30.75 million on that one.
Yeah, it's a Tim. I think the tally is waiting in the waiting area.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Let me go ahead and bring him in. Ladies and gentlemen, he is none other than our fantasy football league commissioner. Let's bring him in now, the one, the only, John Natale.
Yeah. What's up, guys?
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I sort of lost track of some of the free agents over the past few days. I had to catch up and cross names off my list. Yeah, I think I wrote my list a little too soon.
Yeah, well, Flynn and I we were just discussing some of the free agent signings that happened during the week. We just covered some quarterbacks, running backs, and some wide receivers. So we were just about to cover some of the tight ends right there. But
Okay.
I guess you can see here for the quarterback list.
Right.
Anything stand out to you from this list here?
Let's say. Yeah, I like. I mean, I like the Sam Darnold signing because yeah, with the Seahawks, yes, yeah, they definitely needed a quarterback, so they finally got someone. Uh, Yeah, Russell Wilson being a free agent, that's going to be interesting. I mean, the Giants are tied to him, but I don't see that happening. Same for Aaron Rodgers. I don't see that happening either. Oh, yeah. Daniel Jones to the Colts. That's interesting. That's pretty much the end of Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, I'm saying the exact same thing. It's gonna be I think they said it's gonna be a battle, a a battle in camp, and he's gonna be the week 1 starter. I think he's gonna be the week 1 starter based upon what I think is gonna happen in training camp.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yes. I was telling Flynn earlier. I saw Joe Flacco's name, and if I'm not mistaken, at the end of last year, I thought that Joe Flacco should just hang it up.
Yeah, he might. We'll see. I have him on my list also, so we'll see how that goes.
We'll just have to go. Let's just see what happens there. What about these running backs here? Anything stand out to you?
Hmm. Yeah, Nick Chubb is going to be interesting. I mean, with all his injuries, who
Right.
knows? Maybe he'll be retired. He's the very first name I wrote on my list actually for the running backs.
Ah.
Yeah, he stood out to me the most. Oh, I didn't realize the Kareem Hunt re-signed with the Chiefs. I got to cross him off my list now.
Yeah, cross him off your list there.
Yeah, let me see. I didn't write every little name. All right, yeah.
Right.
It would have taken me forever. Let's see. Okay,
That's
the rest of
all
those
right.
names I did not write down. I think. Let me see if there's any names here that you guys didn't. That's not on this list. Okay, some name. A name I have on my list that's not on that one is Cam Akers.
Cam Akers. Okay.
Yeah. Another name that I have on my list that's not on that one is Jamal Williams. Yeah, I'm not sure if him and Javante are related. That I'm not sure about.
No, I don't think so.
Let's see. Oh yeah, Najee Harris. That's a good one. That pretty much solidifies Jalen Warren as the RB1 for the Steelers, unless they go to the draft route. But I think
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of depth at the running back position in the draft this year. I mean, because there are like 6 or 7 that could be really decent running backs in the NFL. So I think the
right.
Steelers' week 1 starter for this year is currently not on the roster.
Let's see.
Right.
Another name that I have on my list that's not on that one, but he ended up signing somewhere. I forget where. Raheem Mostert. He signed somewhere.
Right.
Did he go? Didn't he go back to San Francisco? Was that where he went to?
You might be right. I can't recall, but that sounds right.
I think that sounds right. I don't recall hearing anything about him, but yeah, we were just talking about wide receivers here, and there's a good bit of them here available. I mean,
Oh yeah.
right there. So
I mean, Cooper Cup obviously signed with the Seahawks, so that one's off the list.
Yeah, I
right.
crossed him off. I crossed him off just now.
Yeah, the one that the one that I like here is Chris Godwin re-signing with the Buccaneers at 3 years at 66 million.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely need to have him.
Yeah, I think that was pretty much an obvious one that was going to happen.
Oh
Yeah.
The deal with Davante Adams with the Rams, 2 years, 46 million.
Did you guys talk about it last week on the show?
Talk about who?
Davante Adams going to the Rams.
I think briefly, yeah.
I think it was a brief thing we mentioned last time. So I think we mentioned him and Sims got DeAndre Hopkins, D Hop signing with the Ravens for 1 year. Hollywood Brown resigns for the Chiefs. They wanted to resign him pretty bad, so they got him for another year. Natalie, let me get your. You of course are a Giants fan. Darius Slayton, 3 years, 36 million.
Yeah, I had a feeling it was going to happen. He's pretty much like a role player type of guy now. Although he's not what he once was, he serves as a mentor. Like he could be he's like the mentor for Malik Harris. And yeah.
See, but I think what they were also saying was that mistake that Joe Shane learned from last year was not to let leadership walk, And I
Right.
think you were talking about Saquon Barkley and Xavier McKinney, so I think the Giants have to keep him.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
but at this point, he's no more. He's no more than a wide receiver. He's borderline wide receiver 3 now because basically got Malik Neighbors as your one, as your clear one. Wandell Robinson is your clear number 2. Three,
Yeah.
three could be anybody. It's like a rotating thing. But
yeah,
yeah, Slayton's like borderline number 3.
yeah.
Yeah, it feels like a couple of years from now he's going to be a cap casualty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could happen. Of course, another big deal. 3 years, $36 million. Joshua Palmer signing with the Buffalo Bills. They pretty much needed a receiver right there.
Yeah, that's a good signing for them. Yeah, I didn't write him down on my list, but yeah, that's a good signing for them.
Yep. We see here. I mentioned DeAndre Hopkins for the Ravens. I mean, get someone to, because I mean DeAndre Hopkins. I think Flynn and I said what wide receiver 3 maybe,
Yeah, I think
maybe 1 or 2.
I think he's 2 right now, but I think the Ravens are going to draft a receiver.
Yeah, they probably could. Yeah. Noah Brown re-signing with the Commanders, 1 year up to $4 million. We talked about that there. I think.
Yeah, probably wide receiver 3, I would guess.
Yeah. Of course, most famous for catching that Hail Mary against the Bears, which pretty much started the downward spiral for the Bears and started the upward climb for the Commanders all the way to the NFC Championship game.
I'm crazy that might have been the most consequential game of the entire regular season.
Oh yes, I agree absolutely. And there's a lot of names still haven't gotten their deals, like Amari Cooper, Stephon Diggs, Cooper Kupp, Keenan Allen, Elijah Moore, Brandon Cooks, Tyler Boyd, Juju Smith-Schuster, Nelson Aguilar, Tyler Johnson, Robert Woods, Tyler Lockett.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping, and I'm going to be, and I might sound biased about this, but I'm kind of hoping that Jerry could get a deal to maybe keep Brandon Cooks in Dallas.
Yeah,
But of course, who knows what goes on in Jerry's mind?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's no thing that goes on through Jerry's mind. Well, maybe for except
I
one
want me
thing.
some glory hole.
Yeah, I think he still wants that a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but I digress. So let's see here. We are just about to talk about we're just about to talk about tight ends. Uh, Looking at these names here, Jawan Johnson signing a 3-year deal worth 30.75 million with New Orleans Saints, and I think the Saints do need a receiver there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the Saints are just they've Saints have been kind of a mess for the last couple of years. And,
Mm-hmm.
we talked about Mike Gesicki re-signing with the Bengals for 3 years, 25.5 million. I think we mentioned that on our last show.
Mm-hmm.
I think we mentioned Zach Ertz re-signing with the Commanders, 1 year at 6.25 million. Austin Hooper re-signs with the Patriots, 1 year at 5 million.
Yep.
John Bates re-signs with the Commanders, 3 years, 21 million.
Yeah, I got a tight end competition for a tight end 1, tight end 2, but I think it was tight end 1 was probably Ertz.
Yeah, I would think so. And Evan Ingram, of course, earlier this week signed with the Denver Broncos for 2 years of 23 million.
Yep. Well, then I have a few other names on my list that I wrote down. Let's see. I have the longtime Seahawk. He's been around for a few years. Gerald Everett, but I think he was previously with the Rams. Then we
Gerald
have Mo Alley Cox. I think he previously played for the Colts. And then
Yeah.
CJ Uzma, I think he was a Bengal if I remember correctly. And then the last name I have here, but he's probably going to retire. I think in all likelihood because I think he's 39 now. Mercedes Lewis.
39 years old, Mercedes Lewis. Yeah, I think he's about ready for a rocket ship.
Mm-hmm.
So, listen, and one other name here on this is Tyler Conklin. He
Yep.
doesn't really have a deal right now.
Yeah. Previously with the Jets, we'll see if they re-sign him or not.
Yeah, we'll have to take a good look at that. Uh, Looking at the offensive tackles here, looks like Ronnie Stanley re-signing with the Ravens, 3 years at 60 million. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Larry Johnson re-signs with the Rams, 3 years at 57 million. Dan Moore Jr. signs with the Titans, 4 years, 82 million. Ooh, getting into some big numbers now. Morgan Moses with the Patriots, 3 years at 24 million. Uh, Justin Sluke with the Vikings. I guess the numbers there are not available for that contract. Jalen Moore with the Chiefs, 2 years, 30 million.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think the Chiefs probably need a little bit more help on that offensive line right there.
Mm-hmm.
Got to try to protect Patrick Mahomes right there. And Larry Broom signed with the Dolphins. I guess an undisclosed amount there. Then you got Cam Robinson, Tyron Smith, Jedrick Wills Jr., Trent Brown, DJ Humphries, Joe Noteboom, Kelvin Beachum, and Fred Johnson. Uh, haven't gotten any new deals from their teams or any other teams, so
Mm-hmm. Nothing
guess we'll
too
just
much.
have
I
to
know
see
like
what
the I
happens
think the
there.
Giants they just re-signed they just signed like a bunch of like linemen and stuff. Maybe practice squad guys, I'm guessing, or backup players. Players I never really heard of.
Right, right.
Yeah, I wrote a
Uh,
few names on my list, but I just combined them into one. I put
right.
the linemen and guards together in one group.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did write down Will Hernandez. That's one of the names that I wrote. I wrote Tyron Smith. I wrote him down. I wrote down Kevin Zettler. I just basically wrote down the people I've heard of.
Right. Kevin Seitler signed with Tennessee 1 year at 9 million.
Oh, now I got to scratch him off my list.
Right.
I wasn't paying too much attention to the linemen. I was mostly looking at the wide receivers, quarterbacks, things like that.
Right. Yeah, looking at the main guys, I mean, definitely as far as fantasy is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some okay, it looks like we got some defensive here. The Mack truck. Khalil Mack re-signs with the Chargers 1 year at 18 million. Big one here, Josh Sweat. He helped that defense in Philly. Now he's with the Cardinals for 4 years at 76.4 million. Got Hassan Reddick signed with the Buccaneers 1 year at 14 million. The big one right here, I think we mentioned him last week on last week's show. Joey Bosa with the Bills, 1 year, 12.6 million.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that big signing for them. A big boost to their defense.
Oh yeah, very very big. This one I want to expand on.
Sure.
After 11 years with the Cowboys, DeMarcus Lawrence signs a deal with the Seattle Seahawks, 3 years, $32.49 million.
Wow. That's a
He
shocker to
was,
me. I definitely did not see that coming.
yeah, that, I guess you could say that was a kick to the gut for all of us Cowboys fans.
Oh yeah.
And I said I wanted to expand on that a little bit because a couple of days ago,
Mm-hmm.
he was talking to a Seahawks blogger, and he said, and I quote, "A change in scenery is always good, but Dallas is my home. I made my home there. My family lives there. I'm forever going to be there. but I know for sure I'm not going to win a Super Bowl there. So yeah, we're here.
Ugh.
That, of course, drew a response from this man right here,
Mm-hmm.
number 11 from heaven, Michael Parsons.
Right.
He took to X, formerly known as Twitter, and he basically responded by saying, "This is what rejection and envy look like. This some clown shit."
Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, for sure. And he's not. He's definitely not going to win a Super Bowl with the Seahawks either. The Seahawks are basically in rebuild mode now.
And then DeMarcus shot back at Micah. He's saying, quote, "Calling me a clown won't change the fact that I told the truth. Maybe if you spent less time tweeting and more time winning, I wouldn't have left."
Jeez, what? Jeez.
But this may sound crazy because everyone who knows me, especially you guys, know
Mm-hmm.
that I'm a diehard Cowboy fan.
Right.
And as far as what Demarcus Lawrence said to that Seahawks reporter, to tell you the truth, he isn't wrong.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
I mean, all those like I said, he was originally drafted by the Cowboys, spent 11 years of his career with them, now going to the Seahawks, and yeah.
Mm.
So, little bit of a banter with former teammates right there.
All right.
So, that's basically how that went. So, but the Cowboys did get one defender back. They actually got Dante Fowler Jr. back. He got 1 year up to $8 million there. Uh, what about Chauncey Golston? Signs 3 years, 19.5 million with your New York Football Giants.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not familiar with him, so you probably have to. You have to tell me about him, how good he was with the Cowboys. But yeah, the Giants do need some help on that defensive line. So yeah, I suppose he could work. How did
Um,
he do? How did he do as a Cowboy?
well, he wasn't a featured star, like Parsons or Lawrence or
All right.
Diggs or Bland, But
Mm-hmm.
but he did his job. He he,
Okay.
he he did his job when he needed to. So you might I think he might help that Giants defense.
Anyway, was he a starter on the Cowboys or was he one of the backups?
I think he was like a mix of a starter and a backup. I think so.
Mhm.
So okay, and I got to get Flynn back up here because I think he's on there right now. So he's back with us.
Alrighty.
Yep, I can hear you.
Yeah, we were just talking about some of these pass rushers that got contracts right here.
Yep.
Uh,
I mean, Khalil Mack going back to the Chargers. That that makes sense. I mean, I think Josh Sweat deserved every single penny of that contract with the Cardinals. That he's going to bowl out theirs. Um, yeah, and I also love what the Bears have done with their offense. That they completely rebuilt the interior of their offensive line to protect Caleb Williams. So I
uh,
think that's a really good sign for Caleb Williams, who was one of the most sacked QBs in the National Football League last year.
right.
So big ups to Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson for putting together a very good roster.
Oh, definitely. Hey, Daniel, happy Friday to you, buddy. Good to have you watching us again. Now, Flynn, I had to expand on this one a little bit. Demarcus Lawrence signing with the Seahawks, 3 years, 32.49 million, and I told Natalie and all of our viewers of the little the comment that Lawrence made, and then the rebuttal by Michael Parsons. I'm sure you heard about that.
I think I saw it a little bit last night.
Well, I'll just repeat what I said to Natalie. He said, thing was, Demarcus Lawrence was talking to a Seahawks blogger. He said, quote, a change in scenery is always good, but Dallas is my home. I made my home there. My family lives there. I'm forever going to be there, but I know for sure I'm not going to win a Super Bowl there. So yeah, we're here. Which in turn got a response from Michael Parsons saying this is what rejection and envy looks like. This some clown shit.
Yeah.
And then DeMarcus shot back by saying, "Calling me a clown won't change the fact I told the truth. Maybe if you spent less time tweeting and more time winning, I wouldn't have left." So I basically said to Natalie, as far as the original comment that Demarcus Lawrence made, I hate to say this, but he's not wrong.
It speaks to the dysfunction in Dallas and why they're not going to be a Super Bowl contender anytime soon. And basically, Demarcus Lawrence said his piece and said, you know what, goodbye.
Yeah, basically what he did. So let's see here. Let's see other names. What other names? Big names do I see here on this?
Mm-mm.
Don't see any other.
Did we talk about tight ends yet? Because I have a couple of tight
Yeah.
end takes.
Oh yeah, let's
Yep.
we'll scroll back up to the tight ends right there.
Mm-hmm.
I think a fantasy name to watch for this coming draft is Evan Ingram. So, because I think he gets let go by Jacksonville, signs a 2-year contract with Denver. I would not be surprised if Evan Ingram is a top 12 tight end, top 10 to 12 tight end in fantasy next year.
Hmm.
With,
Yeah, that's
well,
possible.
because I think you need a good tight end for a young quarterback, and the receiving options are not fantastic for Denver. So you look at someone like Ingram, who he might he could get 800 receiving yards next year.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's a possibility. And
yeah,
of course they got an awesome young quarterback right there with
Bo Nix.
Bo
Mm-hmm.
Nix. Yep, got an awesome quarterback. So they could really gel right there. So. And we were talking about the edge defenders: Khalil Mack, Josh Sweat, Hassan Reddick, Demarcus Lawrence. Like I said to Natalia, I'm glad that the Cowboys got Dante Fowler Jr. back. I think he spent a year in Washington before they signed him for 1 year, $8 million there.
Yeah. Did,
Uh,
did, did we talk about Joey Bosa yet?
Mm-hmm.
Joey Bosa. Now we did mention him, I think, on our last show. Signed a 1 year, 12.6 million deal with the Bills.
Yeah, I think it's in terms of getting closer to a championship. I think this is a great signing for Buffalo because you need someone to go after the quarterback, whether it's Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson. Two quarterbacks. In fact, the Bills are going to see all three of Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes during the regular season. Of course, with the divisions in the North and the East seeing each other, and then Mahomes going to Buffalo this year. Um,
Oh yeah, that's
yeah,
that's going to be a big time performance right there. Of course, Patrick Mahomes has dominated. I think I think it's true that Patrick Mahomes has dominated Josh Allen in the regular season, but almost the exact opposite in the postseason. So
yeah, yeah. In fact, I think all three of those QBs are gonna go to Buffalo during the regular season.
that is not going to be that's not going to be easy for any one of them. So Taking a look at some interior defensive linemen here. Is there any? I don't know if there's any big names here that
Oh,
I
Dalvin
see.
Tomlinson, I remember him. He was a solid player with the Giants back in the day.
And he was good under Jim Schwartz's defense the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Dalvin Tomlinson. Oh, signed with the Arizona Cardinals, 2 years, $29 million.
And Javon Kinlaw going to Washington.
Hmm.
That's a
Javon
lot of money to
Kinlaw.
spend on a guy like him.
Oh yeah, 3 years, $45 million with Washington. And I see the Broncos re-signed DJ Jones, 3 years at $39 million. Got Malik Collins signing with the Browns, 2 years at $20 million. Now here's an interesting one that doesn't have a deal. Calais Campbell.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, he doesn't have a deal, and
yeah, if you go to the top, those are some big ones. Milton Williams going from the Eagles to the Patriots.
4 year, $104 million from Milton Williams. Javon Hargrave with the Vikings, 2 years, $30 million. That's pretty good years. Oh, here's another good one. 3 years, $33 million for B.J. Hill signing with the Bengals.
Yep.
Malik Collins signing with the Browns, 2 years at $20 million. So, let's see. Neville Gallimore, a former Cowboy, signs with the Colts for a 1-year deal. I guess the numbers have not been determined yet. Neville Gallimore, I think that was a player that the Cowboys actually drafted either. I think it was last year or the year before. So, see, good. Jonathan Hankins played with the Bears and he was with the Cowboys. If I'm not mistaken, I think the Cowboys may have let him go, but I'll have to look at that one here. Take a look at some linebackers here. This is what I'm talking about here.
Ernest Jones re-signing with the Seahawks. That's a big one.
That is huge. That is huge. They're going to need him. Dre Greenlaw with the Broncos, 3 years at $35 million. Let's hear. Let's see.
CJ Mosley and Eric Hendricks remain unsigned.
Unsigned guys. Terrell Becker, EJ Speed, Devondre Campbell. They're still having Devin White. Willie Gay Jr. Denzel Perryman resigns with the Chargers 1 year at $3.65 million. So, interesting names here. Corners. DJ Reed with the Lions, 3 years, $48 million. Oh my gosh. If there's anyone who needs any defenseman, that would be the Detroit Lions after that season they had with like 18 defensemen on the injured list. They definitely need some help on the defense right there.
Oh, yeah.
Chavarius Ward signed with the Colts 3 years up to $60 million. Let's see, Kendall Fuller, Sante Samuel, Mike Hilton. No deals yet. Darius Slay signed a 1-year deal with the Steelers at $10 million. Stephon Gilmore still does not have a deal yet. Let's see here. Let's see some other. Yeah, Jordan Lewis let go by the Cowboys, signed by the Jaguars, 3 years, $30 million. Like I said, he's not prime time, but he ain't no fluke, so he's a good player right there. And we got here Michael Jackson. Carolina Panthers, 2 years, $14.5 million. Sorry, folks, I had to do that.
Yeah.
Eric Stokes with the Raiders, 1 year at $4 million. And Noah
Yeah. Hmm.
signs with the Commanders, so got him there. Looking at the safety
I mean,
position.
I mean, you missed a bunch of names at corner.
Yeah, we mentioned Reed.
I mean, Nate Hobbs, Paulson Adebo, Brandon Stevens going to the Jets. I mean, Brandon Stevens coming off a down year for Baltimore, but he could easily bounce back under the new coaching. Um, I mean, it's a Paulson Adebo. I really like that signing because he is better than any corner the Giants had last year. So he's going to be CP1, and he had a good year before he got hurt last year.
Right. Let's see here. Chiefs get Kristen Fulton, 2 years at $20 million. Like I said, Stephon Gilmore still yet to be signed. Just have to see what happens there. Taking a look at the safety positions. Damar Hamlin re-signed with the Bills, 1 year, $2 million.
It's Javon Holland, who was the best safety, and might have been one of the best defensive free agents available. He goes to the Giants, 3 years, $45 million.
Oh, I am going to take a look at that guy.
Yeah, Javon Holland, he is a tremendous safety. Again, another reason I can't believe why Chris Greer let him go. But then again, that's the norm for the Dolphins under Chris Greer.
Yeah. The very dysfunctional Chris Greer, we might say.
Mm-hmm.
So Javon Holland, of course, we'll be seeing him, see if he can challenge the receivers in Washington, Philly, and Dallas.
Yeah.
I see here. Oh, here's a big one. 4 years, $60 million for Cameron Bynum,
Oh.
signing with the Colts.
Yeah, gonna miss those dances.
Oh man.
He was that like the dancing thing.
Yeah, he started all of them with the Vikings last year. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see if he gets his new teammates on board with dancing.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see here. I got some big contracts right here at the top. Talanoa Hufanga with the Broncos, 3 years, up to $45 million.
Yeah, that's a fantastic signing by the Broncos. The 49ers are definitely going to miss him.
Yeah. Justin Reed signs with the Saints at 3 years, $31.5 million. And like I was telling Natalie, the Saints have kind of been a borderline dumpster fire over the last couple of years.
And yet they still to find a way to sign Chase Young and company and others, which makes no sense to me.
Yeah. Jeremy Chin with the Raiders, 2 years, over $16 million on that deal. Let's see. Xavier Woods, former Cowboy, he signed with the Titans, 2 years, $10 million. So Xavier Woods is going to be reunited with his old teammate in Dallas, Tony Pollard. Let's see, Will Harris signs with the Commanders, 2 years, $8 million. Let's see if here. Eric Murray with the Jaguars, 3 years, $22.5 million. A few names does not have deals. Juan Thorhill, Justin Simmons, Julian Blackman, Quandre Diggs, Von Bell, Jalen Mills, Chuck Clark, Rayshawn Jenkins, Marcus Williams. They've all yet to have deals yet, so So that's pretty much the free agent signings that have been happening so far.
Yeah. The only other thing is I have a few kickers on my list that I wrote down.
Oh, you had some kick. Well, they didn't
Yeah.
mention any kicker. Let me see if I can.
Yeah,
Let me see if I can.
I wrote down some free agent kickers.
Yeah, I think I had this one
Hmm.
website that I was looking at. I think I looked at it
Yeah,
last year.
I used a sports track when I wrote my list.
Yep, yep. That's exactly the one that I was looking at here.
Hmm. Yeah, I
Was
didn't
it the
write down all of them.
one?
I didn't write down all the kickers. I wrote down six of them. If there was I think there was 9 or 10 listed. I wrote down six of them.
Right.
Ah, yep, there it is. That website. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I
There's.
used.
Okay, but I need to change this up a bit so I can highlight. Oh,
Yeah.
let's see if it comes reactive here. Let me see if I can call up the kickers list. It seems like my laptop is kind of acting up again.
I
Hmm.
mean, I'm finally back on my laptop because I had problems before. But
Okay, so let's look at the kickers here.
There we go.
Yeah, looks like kind of a short list here. We have Brandon McManus signing a three-year deal. Three-year deal looks like 15.3 million with the Packers. Matthew Wright and Zane Gonzalez both signed deals worth 1.17 million. Wright to the Panthers and Gonzalez to the Commanders. Anders Carlson with the Jets at 1.03 million, 1 year deal. John Parker Romo. I wonder if he is any relation.
hmm, doubtful. But
Doubtful. $960  1 year deal with the Patriots. Andre Smith, whatever it is, Cleveland Browns 840 million. So is Charlie Smythe with the Saints. Jude McAdamy
hmm
for the Giants at 840. I guess 840 is probably the minimum for a kicker for one you do. And Alex Hale with the Packers with that deal
Hmm.
here.
Yeah,
Uh,
and then the free agents I wrote down on here are Nick Folk, yeah, Matt
Nick
Prater,
Folk,
yep,
Matt Prater.
Eddie Pinheiro, Michael Badgley,
Uh
Austin
huh.
Seibert. Well, I guess if Austin Seibert gets re-signed, it'll be a competition between those two guys, Zane Gonzalez and him. And then,
Yeah.
the final one, competing with Harrison Butker for a kicking job, Spencer Strider.
Spencer Strider. Okay. Oh, there's a lot of punters here.
and so did you just say Spencer Strider, Natalie?
Yeah, or Schrader. I think I mispronounced
Okay.
it.
Okay, because I was going to say if you said if Spencer Strider left the Braves and became a kicker, I would have been jumping through a table right now. But
oh
Hmm.
my goodness. Look at punter here. Jamie Gillen for the Giants. 3 years, nine
Yep,
million
Scottish
there.
Hammer.
Is that what they call him?
yeah,
The Scottish
Scottish
Hammer. Yep, yeah,
Hammer.
he's born in Scotland.
Ah. And it looks like the
I believe
Cowboys
he's
have
the only Scottish
re-signed.
player in the league.
hmm
Yeah. Uh, my Cowboys re-signed Brian Anger for a 2 year deal. I guess
Mhm.
the value was not disclosed at the time. So other than that, that's pretty much it right there.
Hmm.
So with all that being done this past week, we took a look last week at the teams and their salary cap situations. But like I
See, I'm,
said, it's kind of difficult for me to get a screenshot from a laptop.
it's so you think I think I should try and pull it up on my end because since I now have since I'm now on right now.
Yeah, you took that screenshot, did you?
No, it's yeah that was the one from last
From last week. Okay. Okay, so you're on your laptop now, so I guess you can I can let you handle take the controls, number one.
it's yeah, but I just want to make sure my my thing didn't freeze. All right, here we go. If I can let me try and get this uh, yeah this one out. So yes,
Yeah.
it's I mean again still cap hits for 2025, but some are still to be determined. So I think these are a little bit higher than what they really are. But I mean obviously the Patriots. Let's see what numbers that they haven't factored in yet. And again, they spent a lot in free agency, and the numbers for Harold Landry, Morgan Moses, and Jalen Hawkins, three guys they signed, have still yet to be determined. So, um, so I think once the Patriots announce concrete details,
Mm-hmm.
then they'll be able to uh, t- take care of that. Um, but I mean, I think the only team that's currently reportedly over the cap right now is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Ah. So we
Um,
had a few
yes, yes.
last week, so
yes, so we really won't have any concrete details on the contracts and the cap hits for a little bit. I do want to want to show you the Mike Clay from ESPN like his projections from NFL from ESPN and I think you really have a good look and a good visual of the rosters and how they stack up. Um, right here. So like it's like instead of doing a ranking from 1 to 32 for the positions, yeah, he does grades from 1 to 10,
mm-hmm.
and yeah, and as you can see here, like the greens are like the strengths and the reds are weak spots. So yes, it's like the ones that stand out. The Rams linebackers I mean, because I think they let a couple of them walk in free agency. The Dolphins have a grade of 1 for their safety. I mean, Javon Holland left to go to the Giants. But but you can really sense the strengths of these rosters and where and how it relates to their fantasy success.
Right.
Um, Yeah, so it's like let's go down to some of the rankings for some of these positions here. Let me try to zoom in a little bit on that. So like if you're looking at the running backs, that obviously the Cowboys are still they have Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, Deuce Vaughn, so they're near the bottom of the pack in terms of running back rooms.
Right.
And whereas if you have a team like the Lions, where you have Montgomery and Gibbs, it's pretty darn good.
Oh, definitely.
Um, I mean the wide receivers. You look at. teams that have 2 stars at receivers, and with AJ Brown, Davante Smith as an example, Jordan Addison, Mike Evans, T. Higgins, Davante Adams, all great receivers, and they pair up with other elite receivers, and you have great rooms in the positions. And Washington is suddenly up there as well when they added Deebo Samuel and brought back Noah Brown.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I was
Put
I was
them put them together with Scary Terry. I mean, that is going to be something.
yeah. And I mean, you have to look at at Jaden Daniels to be like a big fantasy winner there.
Oh yeah.
Um, so, I mean, the Giants not bad after bringing back Darius Slay. There might have been a bit of an area of weakness. The tight end rooms: Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. Um, although the Broncos, they do it's still ranked 31st even with Evan Ingram, but I think Evan Ingram's going to put up some good numbers this year. I can tell you that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of the starting offensive line, the usual suspects, and look at the Chicago Bears, what they're able to do. All these
Oh
offensive
yeah. Look at
line
that.
problems, and look
Wow.
where they rank, number 3, with a grade of
Oh.
9.
Hmm.
Drew Dahlman coming over from Atlanta, Joe Tooney coming over from Kansas City, Jonah Jackson coming in from the Rams. I mean, you might look at the Bears as being a team that can make the playoffs this season.
That looks like a line that could definitely protect Caleb Williams right there.
I mean, definitely. I mean, Caleb Williams, I think he led the league in sacks last year, since sacks taken by a QB with 68.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Ben Johnson knows the importance of having a great offensive line because he coached one with the Lions.
Oh yeah. So he said over to yeah. So I think Ben Johnson is probably the coach that the Bears have been kind of looking for.
Yeah, I mean,
Return corner.
and someone to coach up Caleb Williams too.
Oh yeah.
The interior defensive line units, Seattle still excellent, led by Leonard Williams and Byron Murphy and Jaron Reed, and Tennessee's pretty strong. I mean, as bad as Tennessee's roster is, this is probably the strength of their team. Jeffrey Simmons, and even with Harold Landry gone from the edge rush unit, they're still have a decent front four headed by Jeffrey Simmons. I mean, in terms of edge rushers, I think the Giants adding Chauncey Golston. I don't know if it's a deal that you guys discussed while I was away, but I do kind of like that a little bit for the Giants.
Giants at number 3.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you go, let's go to page 25. I mean, if you look at their defense, it could be pretty good this year. And they're pretty strong on the front four. They have their 4 starting defensive backs are all talented and under the age of 25, so that's a huge plus.
Mm-hmm.
So the Giants defense, I don't know how they're gonna handle the quarterback situation, but but the Giants brass is saying that they're a quarterback away from contending, and I kind of see it the same way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the offense needs a little bit of work. Basically, just work on the quarterback and maybe the linemen, and I think they're going to look pretty good.
Yeah, let's go back to page 25 because that's the Giants here. I mean, so here's the Giants as it currently constructed, and you tell me, Tyrone Tracy, Malik Neighbors, Wandale Robinson, if Theo Johnson maybe take a step up in year 2.
Oh yeah. I think he definitely has the job over Daniel Bellinger as tight end 1.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I mean, but the thing is, Theo Johnson missed the last 5 games of the season because of the injury he suffered in the Thanksgiving game against the Cowboys.
Yeah, yeah, and Belger barely did a thing and filling in for him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Explains why the Giants' offense was so bad last year, with the exception of that Colts game.
Right.
Yeah, keep Andrew Thomas healthy, and maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe it
I think
sounds like the
John Michael Smith's
Giants
due for
are.
a bounce back.
Yeah.
Sounds like the Giants are a team that might well be able to turn the corner this coming season.
Yeah, the Giants have a decent secondary now with a grade of 7 at their cornerback units, according to Mike Clay, and a grade of 6 for their safeties. Definitely be on the lookout for them.
Oh yeah.
But other than that, I think if you let's go through some of these teams from Mike Clay's that you figure Arizona, Atlanta hasn't really much changed. Though Michael Penix Jr. should be starting, and then the Baltimore DeAndre Hopkins actually slots in as WR3 for the moment for Baltimore, with a rank of 83. Same thing with Buffalo with Josh Palmer, because I knew I forgot someone with Keon Coleman. Rico Dowdle slides in as RB2 behind Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah.
Let's see. Nothing on position players for the Bears quite yet. Same thing with Cincinnati, though Cincinnati's trying to get contract extensions done reportedly with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase.
Yes, I mean, that's got to be a major thing right there. If they can get those guys locked in, they'll be all right.
It's yeah, but I just think they still have issues with the offensive line.
Right.
Issues at corner, issues at safety. You can't have Cam Taylor, Brett B or CB1. You can't have Geno Stone be your be your strong safety at this point of his career. And then you have to look at Trey Hendrickson as well if he's gonna stay.
Right.
Cleveland is still to be determined. Also, Kenny Pickett going to Cleveland. Like, imagine if it's Kenny Pickett facing Mason Rudolph in a Thursday night game in November when the Browns play the Steelers.
Ooh.
Last year the two teams played in the Snow Globe game, a Thursday night game in November in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Let's see, Dallas. Javonte Williams slides in as RB1. Miles Sanders RB2. That's it. Denver, Evan Engram. Right now, his current PPR rank at tight end is 15, but I think that's going to be a little bit higher. Let's see, Houston. Right now, Christian Kirk slides in at 47. John Mechie III slides in at 73. The Colts. I don't think they added anybody quite yet. Jacksonville. In Kansas City, Hollywood Brown is currently WR2. I remember Rashee Rice missed most of the season last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt, same thing, slides back into RB2 behind Pacheco. Let's see, with the Chargers, Mike Williams slides in as WR3, which is not a bad wide receiving core. Najee Harris, RB1, obviously. Davante Adams would definitely be a WR1 because his current PPR rank projection would be number 10 overall.
Right.
Yeah. Raheem Mostert went to the Raiders and he slides in as he's RB2. NWI is number three for the number three wide receiver for the Dolphins, and yeah, Minnesota. Yeah, the number one wide receiver right now for the Patriots is Kayshawn Bodie, who ranks number 64. So
Wow.
definitely the worst wide receiver room in the NFL right now.
Oh yeah.
Um, let's see who. Let's see what Will Shipley is now the RB2. I don't know if it means that much with Saquon Barkley there. Let's see, Pittsburgh. Let's see,
Pittsburgh looks like DK Metcalf at wide receiver one.
yeah, at 36, mind you. I
Oh.
think it's gonna, but I do think it's gonna be an interesting battle for number of targets. Because according to Mike Clay, they each have a similar amount of targets, 117 for Metcalf, which if we do the math here would be an average of 7 targets per game.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle MVS, no surprise, is our WR3 with the addition of Cooper Cup. San Francisco, Demarcus Robinson's actually WR4. Because I think we forgot about Jawan Jennings
Oh yeah.
in there. In there. Um, Tampa Bay, nothing outstanding. That should be outstanding in terms of news there. Same thing with
Right.
Tennessee, and then same thing with Washington.
Sounds about right. So, with all these free agent signings and all this stuff going on here, it looks like very interesting things going on, and just see what happens here in these next few weeks leading up to next month's NFL draft.
Yeah, it's in less than 6 weeks. The draft will start.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, the draft this year is taking place in um,
Green Bay.
In New
what?
Orleans.
Green Bay.
Green
Ah,
Bay.
The Super Bowl was in New Orleans.
right.
So it's going to be well. I was in the right division. I was thinking Detroit, but it's going to be in Green Bay. So less than 6 months away. So we'll be playing on that, and I think I'm going to take an early look at some mock drafts and see what I can come up with as far as my top 10. So that's probably what I'll be working on a little bit here.
Yep.
Ain't gonna be that long. So I guess with that, I think we can go ahead and put a wrap on this fancy football free agent frenzy edition here.
Yep.
Very, very interesting. Um, Actually, this leaderboard prediction is just what we just saw here. I might go ahead and print. What's that? 80 pages. I think I've got at least 80
Yeah.
sheets of paper in my printer down there, and so
I think that this is primarily for web usage at the moment because that link is going to update throughout the off season. I mean, because we factored other free agent signings, the draft,
right.
and another factors leading because I think it updates. I think the last time it updates is I think the Wednesday after Labor Day.
Uh-huh. So I'll be an interesting thing here. So I guess we could put the wraps on this edition of Fantasy Football Fever. Just a quick reminder.
Mm-hmm.
Hooked on Sports with John Flynn. Look for it on Apple iTunes. Look for it on Spotify. Look for it on TuneIn. Any podcast platforms, just put it into the search engine, Hooked on Sports, And most likely you will find John Flynn doing that.
Yeah.
So, give a little bit more insight on the NFL as well as news from around the world of sports. So
Yep.
that's what he does.
You got March Madness coming up next week. So it's the NCAA tournaments. I'm very excited to fill in my brackets. I've been locked in with college hoops for the last 6 weeks. And I can't wait for a bracket to come out.
All right, so y'all be looking for Hooked on Sports, and oh, what are we gonna do for our next show? I mean,
It's. I mean, we'll figure it out, but we'll be on at least a couple of times between now and the draft.
oh yeah, we'll do that. But well, we'll keep everybody informed.
Yep.
We'll keep everybody informed on what we'll do. So I guess we'll just close up shop for now. So be sure to check out Hooked on Sports with John Flynn. Check us out next time. We'll keep you up to date. So I hope y'all enjoyed this big, massive free agent frenzy. Very interesting things going on in the NFL, and we're just getting started here. I mean, it's the off season. There's going to be a lot of moving, a lot of shaking. Of course, drafts coming up. So it's an exciting time right now, even though there's not a lot of action on the field. The off the field action is what really counts. So, with that being said, I want to thank Mr. John Flynn, thank Mr. John Natali, and I want to thank all of you out there for watching. My name is Tim McClellan. Thank you all so much. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you real soon. God bless you all. And as always, be a good sport. See you.